The Blazers played at Detroit. Now, I missed the fourth quarter of this live. My youngest had her first basketball practice yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
And so it just lined up because they're playing in Detroit time-wise. So I missed I watched it when I got home.
Are you Coach Sprague here again?
No, I'm coaching my oldest daughter's
Okay.
team. My youngest, this is her first year. I let her ease into it, and we'll see where it goes. They played a pretty exciting game with the Pistons yesterday. The Pistons are a better team this year than they were last. They lost 118 to 115 yesterday. What you need to know about this, the Blazers shot 45.7% from three. Anthony Simons was effing awesome in this game.
Shaden brought it.
Shaden brought it as well. Shaden had 20 and had 36. DA had a strong little game for himself, 18 and 11. Denny continues to be pretty good. And Tamani was, he was good defensively, and he gave him a little something offensively. Pistons were awesome because they're this mix of young and veteran. You got Duren, you got Cunningham, and then, oh, by the way, there's Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Malik Beasley. And so the Pistons end up coming back from 22 down. Our beloved Blazers lose at Detroit. Was that your first Pistons games you had watched this year?
Yes.
What'd you think of the Pistons?
They got a lot of nice pieces.
Fun little team.
So, yeah. And, that's the way you want to play. Now, who among them develops and then at what point. And this is always the interesting part with a younger team. You want to develop the talent. You want to develop just the way OKC did and some other Minnesota was able to do this. And then at what point is the right time to make the big move, either signing a big free agent in the offseason, making a big trade to bring in when you figure out, okay, what's the missing element? What is it that we don't have? And then what piece to add. And you go all the way back to, we were talking about the 90s Blazers team. It was Buck Williams. Mm-hmm. That was the last piece.
That was the big piece for them, yeah.
For them to do. And it's and that's the big roll of the dice when you're the GM. So the tough part is, initially going out is like, okay, we got to tear this down, rebuild. That's what happens in the NBA if you're not one of 5 teams that everybody wants to go play for. So when you find the talent and you get somebody like a Cade Cunningham that can be the guy that you can start to build the pieces around. But they got a lot of nice pieces.
They do. Cunningham has been awesome this year. I thought Cade Cunningham was good last year. He's taken a step this year. He's 32 and 9 last night.
He is stepping into the role of being the guy that the Blazers are trying to figure out who that potentially is. Is it Ant? Is it Shaden? Is it Scoot?
Right.
Who is it? Who's it going to be? The Blazers don't know yet.
I think the weird thing is watching the Pistons, because the Pistons have been one of the worst teams in basketball for what feels like a decade now.
Yeah.
What feels weird is to watch the Pistons play, and many had not seen the Pistons play prior to last night. I think I had seen maybe in total a game of Pistons basketball. Like I've seen little blips here and there, like parts of a quarter, this highlight, that random game, whatever. I hadn't seen a whole lot of Pistons, but I've been following what their season's been. The way they're building is interesting because Cunningham has become their one, right?
Yep.
Ivy gets hurt. It's really unfortunate. But you've got Duren, the young center there. He
Love
yesterday
Duren.
has 14 and 12 with 4 assists.
Didn't we see him when Memphis came to play the Ducks in the Rose
He played
Garden?
in the
whatever the hell that was.
I forget what that was. Was that that wasn't the tournament, was it?
No. It was a dual get because Oregon State played somebody. It was just
it was the PK.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the PK. It was just a one-off, one-night
Oh, Oregon State
showcase.
played Florida.
Yeah.
I went to that game.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. No.
I was there. Maybe I didn't go with.
I sat next to our boss. You weren't there.
No,
I
think I went with Dirt.
Oh, that's random. Yeah, well, Duren's a young piece.
Yeah.
They've got Cunningham. Obviously, Ivy gets hurt. But what they did was they mixed the young pieces they have because I don't think they care as much about draft positioning based on how their season's going. And this is what you're seeing. This is something we can kind of get into because people on the YouTube chat have already dove into it. The part of tanking or not being good is how long till you rise out, right?
Yep.
Anthony Simons yesterday was stellar. At 36 points, he was on fire in the fourth and had a shot last night to tie it.
If he didn't dribble it off his foot.
If he didn't dribble off his leg, and I thought it was a good point. By the way, we had a Benetti game yesterday.
Yeah.
Benetti was on the broadcast for the Blazers.
Well,
That was great.
he's the Detroit he's in Detroit now.
I'm well aware of that, but we hadn't had him prior to that, and so I think he's doing a couple games for us since KC's out. I think the broadcast made a good point. It might have been Lamar. It felt like maybe Ant thought they were going to foul him to let him shoot 2 instead of settle for the tie.
I had a bigger problem a couple possessions before when I think it was tied. So they cleared out. It was like a minute 30 to go. It was either tied or it was 1 point or something. And the Blazers, they simply put a ball screen up high for Ant, and then he dribbled out 18 seconds off the shot clock, shot a fadeaway contested 28-foot three that missed. Pistons come down. They're on the right side. They make 6-7 passes. Ball goes inside from one side. They reverse it for a wide open three.
Malik
I think Beasley hit it.
It was 111-110.
And they took the lead and didn't give it up at that point.
Yeah.
And that was the ball game for me right there.
Well, I think that's the thing you can kind of see when you watch the Blazers is when they get beat in close games or get blown out, you just watch the other team. And yeah, a lot of this is just they got the horses. Portland doesn't. The ball moves a little bit. When Portland wins, it's like, hey, Anthony Simons was in fuego. Denny Avdia had 28.
Jeremy Grant had 34.
Jeremy Grant had 30-some points. Like, it's not aesthetically pleasing at all times. And it's nice to have a game where Shaedon has a good game. And Ant can be fun when he catches one of those heaters. But what you didn't see a whole lot of, and you could debate if it should be stinking it up today, is Scoot Henderson played 19 minutes and was just terrible.
Awful.
I mean, just awful.
In a game in which you led by 22 and was a 3-point game, he had no points, 4 turnovers, and a -10 rating.
I mean, and Chauncey, I don't think really likes him very much. Chauncey had an interesting quote the other day where he talked about the competitiveness of guys, and he named like 3 players, and you know who he didn't name?
Scoot.
And you can say, well, it's just happenstance. I don't buy that. I think the league is full of tea leaves, and I read them all, and it doesn't always mean it's right, but I don't think that relationship is particularly strong. And so Scoot has just a terrible game. Blazers have a heater from Ant, have a good game from a couple other dudes. They fall to Detroit. I want to talk about the team building aspect of this because somebody wrote something about Scoot yesterday, and it came out yesterday afternoon, and then he proceeded to have just an awful game. The trade deadline is around the corner, and just where the Blazers are at right now,